very fat, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's your miss, is when you don't hit it well, you'll have a tendency to hit it fat.
Yes. Okay.
The average pro on tour will have 90% of their weight on their left side at impact. Nice little draw. Now I want you to take your right hand off and leave your left hand on there. Okay, you can get back. Now let me ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being as hard as you could possibly swing, and I would never want anybody to swing that hard at all, but arbitrarily make up a number that you think represents the speed on that scale. 5 or 6?
Like 5 or 6, yeah.
So you could squeeze a little bit more speed without going completely out of control.
That's what Bill wants me to do. I feel like, you know, what's been helping me lately in the last couple rounds is, you know, it's like I think about my chipping, like just very pendulum-like. And so when I go out with my wedge, I really want to do chipping motion,
right,
which is getting me a more cleaner contact. But he wants me to like whip through the ball so I can get the distance.
So let's have some fun.
Okay.
What we're going to do, there is a perfect tempo for you. I don't know what it is. I know it's not 10. It's probably not even a 9, but it's probably a 7 or 8.
Okay.
Let's say that perfect swing speed for you is 7.
Okay.
That means 8 is wrong. But that also means 6 is wrong.
Okay.
Okay? I don't know what your perfect speed is, but I don't think it's what you're using. As long as you can maintain your form and your balance, you can be more aggressive.
Okay.
Now, if you start losing form and balance, then maybe we're going too fast. I've had many lessons with people, and I said, you know, what can I do to hit it further? And I said, swing harder. It's the simplest way to do it.
Even I feel like I'm hitting it harder, I feel like it's still going the same.
That's right. That one's a little more like the other one, and so right now we're not able to manufacture a swing that actually produces more distance, even when we think it.
Yeah, so it's like, why do I want to, you know, have this like aggressive...
So why take the risk? If you're not going to, there's no gain.
Yes.
That's right. If you're not scoring the way you want to score, it's not necessarily because you don't hit it far enough. Probably even already as a new player or first year player, first or second year.
Yeah.
I'll put it this way. I don't know what day you first took up the game. If 1,000 people took it up that day, and today they were going to have a tournament, you're in the top 3%.
Oh, that's good.
I mean, you're way up there in terms of how fast you progress. So that's really good. If I drew a white line on the graph here, and I had the pros come up, and I put balls on that white line, I had pros come up here and hit every ball. At the end of hitting 10 shots, that white line is still going to be there.
Okay.
All of the divots would be in front of you.
Right. Yeah, I have that problem. Definitely.
So what they're doing at impact, they've got 90% of their weight on that front foot. You have a tendency to be flat-footed at impact, and so we want to feel like the downswing is actually moving, and you kind of just hit it with your hands and arms, and then pose.
Okay.
Michelle, I'm going to look at your swing now in slow motion, frame at a time. Here's your setup, pretty good setup. You have a nice extension from the left shoulder through the shaft. Your left arm is in the same line as the shaft. That puts the hands in front of the ball, which is ideal. That helps you keep the low point in front of the ball so that you hit the ball first and then the ground. This setup allows you to have that divot in front of the ball. Now I'm going to take you back from the backswing to impact. And you can see at impact, you are basically flat-footed. I'm going to draw a little box from the center of your ankles to the top of your head. And so your body is in the center of the box. You do not have, I had mentioned that the average pro will have 90% of their weight on their left side at impact. And you basically are 50-50 or pretty close to 50%, 50%. So your golf swing basically is an upper body arm swing only, and there is no real movement with the core of your swing. I'm going to compare you to Grant Wade, who played on tour during the 90s and is now one of the top instructors of tour players. And many thought that he had one of the best swings in golf. He has it like you did. His setup has that left arm and shaft leaning a little bit, has that angle. Let's take him to impact now. So now he's at impact. I'm going to draw a line, a box from the center of his ankles to the top of his head. You do that again for you here. So you can see at impact, and that's the most important position in golf, because everything the golf ball does, how far it goes, how high it goes, how much it spins and curves, is only responding to one thing, and that's the laws of physics and motion that you create at the moment of impact. So this is the most critical position. The other positions can be good or bad, but what has to be good is this position. This is the critical one. You can see how the left side of the box that's passing through Grant's left foot to the top of his head is going right through his belt buckle. So he's got the center of his mass right on top of that left leg. And his left shoulder, left hip, everything is pushing toward the target outside the box. So you can see how he is definitely driving his core and his lower body. He's very active with his lower body to help hit that ball. If I draw a line straight up from the golf ball, now as you come into the ball, right now your hands are still behind the line. Now you hit the ball, didn't quite catch that swing right at the moment of impact. Grant, his hands will cross that line. His hands are crossing that ball line right now. His hands are already in front of the golf ball before his club is back here. So his hands get in front of the ball before his club gets to the ball. When your club is here, your hands are behind the golf ball. As Grant continues, his hands are still in front. So at impact, Grant's hands are now all the way up to here at impact. So he gets his hands well in front of the ball before he hits the ball. And when he ends up hitting the ball, he has that nice shaft lean just like he started. And when you hit the ball, your club is more vertical. You don't have that lean, that shaft lean. And that's what you need to compress the ball solidly, hit the ball first before hitting the ground. You had mentioned that you hit a lot of fat shots. You hit behind the ball a lot. And it's all because you're not using your lower body to get your weight on your left side at impact. So this is a critical move that you need to learn. There's some drills that I can show you that'll help you develop that core swing. And that's what you need right now in your swing development. Your next piece needs to be how to use the lower body properly through impact. Now, while I've got it here in this position, let's look at one other thing. Grant has, at impact, has a very extended left and right arm. And you have started bowing your elbows. Grant's elbows are close together in front of his chest. You're bowing your elbows. They're separating a little bit. And again, that's because you're not moving your lower body through the ball. Once you start to move your lower body through the ball, particularly this right hip, once you start turning your lower body into the ball, that'll make it easier to keep your arms extended. So those are some of the pieces that you need to next learn.
Okay.
Hit it with your right hip. It's almost as if you're going to hit the ball with your right hip.
Okay.
Right out of your hip. And the only way this club can get to the ball is for you to hit it with that hip. So you're firing the right hip. Much cleaner. Oh, that's your best shot. Starting to take that little bump of the ground every time, too. Little pro divots there. Very nice. Oh, very good. Very good, Michelle. That was a beautiful shot right there. That's getting all the way to the flag now.
Yes.
A while ago, it was just, almost not getting on the green. That was 15 yards further than some of your others. It's all right.
Going to take a quick look at your driver's swing. Here you are at your setup. Very good extension in your left arm and the shaft. The only thing about the driver that you might want to experiment with is ball position. Your ball position right now is a little too close to the center of your stance. I would rather have it up here by the left heel. That'll allow you to shift to your left side a little bit easier and without shifting past the golf ball. With this ball position, there's going to be a tendency to hang back on your back foot and not feel confident that you can drive to your left side and still have good impact on the ball. So let's take a look now, go through your backswing. And you can see you're really starting to stay on that back foot a little bit. So as you hit the ball, this leg here is angled this way. You're falling backwards a little bit. Let me draw a box from the ankles. If we look at, let's look at Tiger at impact with the driver. You can see how the red line coming off his left foot, that his shoulder and hips, if we were to look at this back leg, it's angled here, and he's driving that right hip forward. Your hip is actually going backwards the other way. Tiger's left leg is pretty vertical right here, and yours is going back this way. The other thing that I pointed out with the irons, Tiger has extension here, and you have separating elbows. So you're starting to make small changes and adjustments for the better. Your fundamentals are slowly getting better as you continue to work on that right hip turn that we did a little bit on. We don't need to work on 5 things. This is the one thing you need to work on in order to polish up your swing and have it more fundamentally sound. We've got to get that lower body getting on top of that leg. So I need you to have an impact position where your left hip is all the way up here, if not even going past that line. Tiger's left hip is going past that line at impact. And then once you have that, you're going to just have a quantum leap in ball striking. So that's really the piece you need to work on. You have some outstanding athleticism. This will not be difficult for you to get down with some little bit of work, but that's the next piece you need. One other fundamental I want to address in this first swing report, I didn't talk about your grip in any way. I wanted you to work on some movements without having to also have the distraction of a grip change. But it needs to be pointed out in this first report that you will need to, in order to reach your ultimate potential and play your very, very best golf, you are going to need to have a grip change to facilitate all those extra correct fundamentals. Here's kind of a close-up of your grip. I want to point out just a couple things. You have what we call a double overlap. These two fingers right here are both sitting on top of the glove. And so you have an interlocking grip, and I don't have a problem with an interlocking grip as long as it's the correct interlocking grip. And the two middle fingers of the right hand, that would be this finger and this finger. Both of those need to be on the handle, and that handle needs to be on the middle knuckle, the crease of the middle knuckle. You have the handle very, very deep in your hand, and it's a little bit too far underneath. If I were to look at the pro swing, I would not be able to see this left thumb because the right hand, the lifeline of the right hand would be sitting on top of that thumb, and this camera angle would not be able to see the left thumb. So now that's not something I want you to necessarily experiment with on your own. There are some other nuances that have to be incorporated with your swing at the same time that you're making this grip change. And if you only try to hit balls with the grip change without having those other components married to it, that would not work very well. So the grip change is going to have to be something you need to do with me in order to get the quality shots coming out of that new grip. But that also needs to be included in your development, and it needs to be something that we address fairly early in your development. I don't want to go too far down the road with this particular grip. Now I want to be clear, the left hand is, I think, it is almost in a perfect position. I would not want you to make any changes in your left hand, but it's the right hand. As I asked you to take your right hand off the club, and as you open and start to remove that right hand, you can see how the palm of your right hand is almost straight up in the air. We want the right hand, the plane of the right hand, to be in the same plane as the face of the ball. And so that when you swing the right hand at the golf ball with the club in your hand, it's as if you were hitting the ball with the palm of your hand. So we want the palm of your hand to be on the same plane as the face of the club. I need to have that right hand rotated in such a way that you're sitting on top. But you have that right hand way underneath, and we need to bring it up where it's more square to the ball so that it's on the same plane as the face of the club.